Welcome to the 8th lesson this quarter, a quarter where we are looking at enduring beliefs of the Christian faith. And today, the belief we're looking at is the belief we have in Christian growth. Now, thinking about Christian growth, if you are like me and you grew up in the church, there's almost a sense in which your Christian growth and your growth just as a human being were kind of running in parallel, perhaps, a little bit. I can tell you the day that I became an adult. I know that day. I remember that day vividly. It wasn't the day that I first got my driver's license or the day I graduated from high school or anything like that. It actually came a month or so after I graduated from college. And I invited my college sweetheart to become my wife, made that proposal, and she said yes. I was really excited. I was getting ready to go to seminary at Duke, and I had already rented a apartment and paid for part of the first semester's tuition, although paying for both of those things was not me paying for them, it was my parents who were paying for them. They had put me through college, and they were now continuing to help me with seminary. Lee and I were planning to get married in December after my first semester, and my mother let me know that because I was old enough to be married, I was old enough to take care of myself, and that they would take care of my first semester's expenses, but that was going to be the end of it, and that if I was going to get married, that I needed to take care of my own expenses, rent, tuition, the whole 9 yards. And initially, I was furious. I was furious with her. I didn't feel fair. I didn't know that was what was going to happen if I invited or if I made a propose to my fiance. Nobody told me that, and now you're dropping this on me. And I was a little bit ugly to her. And then I went away, and I began thinking about it. And I realized she was right. If I was old enough to get married, then I was old enough to stand on my own 2 feet. And I didn't need to be asking my parents to fund my life anymore. And I went back to her and I apologized for the way that I had treated her. And that, to me, is the day that I became an adult. And thankfully, she responded with a lot of grace, and everything was fine after that. And actually, she really helped me as a parent to grow, because she was saying, you know, when you cross these particular lines in your life, you've got to take more responsibility. And I'm so thankful in retrospect now that she did that. So that's the day that I became an adult. What I would like to suggest is that our lesson today is the day, in one sense, that we can see Peter becoming an adult, or at least Peter becoming, growing tremendously in his Christian faith. It is one of my very favorite stories in the whole Bible. It comes from John 21, and rather than me reading it to you, I'd like for us to see it the way the visual Bible portrays it. So here is John 21, 2 through 19.
After this, Jesus appeared once more to his disciples at Lake Tiberias. This is how it happened. Simon Peter, Thomas, called the twin, Nathanael, the one from Cana in Galilee, the sons of Zebedee, and 2 other disciples of Jesus were all together. Simon Peter said to the others,
"I'm going fishing."
"We will come with you," they told him. So they went out in a boat, but all that night they did not catch a thing. As the sun was rising, Jesus stood at the water's edge, but the disciples did not know that it was Jesus.
"Young men, haven't you caught anything?"
Not a thing!
"Throw your net out on the right side of the boat, and you will catch some."
So they threw the net out and could not pull it back in, because they had caught so many fish. The disciple whom Jesus loved said to Peter,
It is the Lord.
When Peter heard that it was the Lord, he wrapped his outer garment around him, for he had taken his clothes off, and jumped into the water. The other disciples came to shore in the boat, pulling the net full of fish. They were not very far from land, about 100 yards away. When they stepped ashore, they saw a charcoal fire there with fish on it and some bread.
Bring some of the fish you've just caught.
Simon Peter went aboard and dragged the net ashore full of big fish, 153 in all. Even though there were so many, still the net did not tear.
Come and eat.
None of the disciples dared ask him, "Who are you?" because they knew it was the Lord. So Jesus went over, took the bread, and gave it to them. He did the same with the fish. This then was the third time Jesus appeared to his disciples after he was raised from death. After they had eaten, Jesus said to Simon Peter,
Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these others do?
Yes, Lord. You know that I love you.
Take care of my lambs.
A second time, Jesus said to him,
Simon, son of John, do you love me?
Yes, Lord. You know that I love you.
Take care of my sheep.
A third time, Jesus said,
Simon, son of John, do you love me?
Peter became sad because Jesus asked him the third time, "Do you love me?" And so he said to him,
Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you.
Take care of my sheep. I am telling you the truth. When you were young, you used to get ready and go anywhere you wanted to. But when you are old, you will stretch out your hands, and someone else will tie you up and take you where you don't want to go.
In saying this, Jesus was indicating the way in which Peter would die and bring glory to God. Then Jesus said to him,
Follow me.
One of the reasons that I wanted you to see that portrayal is that this is one of the stories that I love so much because I had been to the traditional site where this took place, and it makes it feel more real to me. And I was hoping maybe if you saw it, you might get that sense as well. The church that is built there now is called the Church of the Primacy of St. Peter, and it's built next to what may be an ancient dock that juts out, or originally jutted out, into the Sea of Galilee. And then also inside the church on the floor there is this little rock slab, and it is the supposed site where Jesus had the fish and the bread cooking for the disciples, and it's called the Mensa Christi, which means the table of Christ. And so it's just kind of neat to be there and to see that dock and kind of visualize a story of Peter jumping out of the boat and swimming to shore. The other disciples maybe bringing the boat up to that dock. Peter then going back to the dock to get the fish and bring them to Jesus, only to discover that Jesus already has the fish and the bread there ready for them. It's just a really special place, or at least it was for me. I picked up a rock there on the side of the Sea of Galilee and have it at home in a prominent place because that place was just so special to me. And so I want us to now think about this story that really took place and that happened in an actual place, of course, in Israel. Peter has messed up. In Jesus' greatest moment of need, when he is arrested, when he is on trial, the 3 times Peter denies that he knows him, at the end even denying with a curse. And we imagine that Peter is just heartbroken over this, and he kind of maybe even wonders, do I have a place in Jesus's world anymore? He's already experienced the resurrected Christ. He knows he's resurrected, but he's not sure he has a place. And maybe that's even why he goes on this fishing trip. Maybe I've got to just pick back up and go fishing because I don't have the option anymore to serve Jesus, and so I'm going back to my old life. Instead, they have this miraculous catch of fish. It is Jesus. Peter jumps out into the boat, out into the water, and our lesson writer, Reverend Stephen, speculates that maybe Peter jumps in the water and swims there to see Jesus because he wants to have a moment or two of private time with Jesus. In the other resurrection accounts, Jesus appears with all of the disciples present, and Peter wants to say to Jesus, I'm so sorry, and I was so wrong. He's had a long time to think about this, and he realizes that what he did was so awful, and he wants to apologize, probably not even hoping against hope that Jesus might still have him, but maybe that he might get a little bit of mercy. Interestingly, we don't know what's said. Peter gets to Jesus, and all we know is that when everybody else gets the boat there, Jesus asks for some fish, and then Peter goes and comes back with fish, but Jesus already has fish and bread cooking there, and then Jesus says the most amazing, graceful thing: come and have breakfast. The Lord's Supper, the Last Supper, is that powerful supper that happened of some time before. But here is, in a sense, not the Last Supper, but the first breakfast in the new kingdom. And these people who, in one way or another, had denied or betrayed or abandoned Jesus are all there together. And Jesus is saying, come and have breakfast with me. I want to have this meal with you. That is such tremendous grace. And then that grace is extended to Peter directly as Jesus asks him, do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me? And many commentators have assumed that what is going on here is Jesus is really giving Peter the opportunity to cancel out those three denials. Not just do you know me, but do you love me? But it's not only a cancellation of the denials, but Jesus says, feed my sheep, tend my lambs. Feed my sheep. Jesus is saying to Peter, I have work for you. You still are a part of me. I had big work for you, which is why that church is called the Church of the Primacy of St. Peter, because, of course, Jesus had said earlier that on this rock, Peter, I will build my church. And of course, in Catholic theology, Peter was the first pope. Certainly he was a leader in the early church, regardless of what the title might have been. And so Jesus not only forgives him and graces him, but gives him new purpose. And in a sense, that's what my mother did. She didn't point her finger at me and say, how dare you treat me that way? She graced me, and then she sent me out to take care of myself. And that was a good thing. That was being a great example of being a mom. Jesus does the same thing with Peter, and he warns Peter that this is going to be hard. When you were young, you got to go wherever you wanted to go. Now somebody's going to come and take you and arrest you. And John tells us, he's telling Peter, you're going to die for me. And of course, church legend says that Peter was crucified upside down because he said, I don't deserve to die in the way that my Lord died. And that's a powerful, powerful story. Whether that is actually true or not, we can imagine it would be, because Peter could be so dramatic, but also he has grown up so much where he can't even admit that he knows Jesus on that Maundy Thursday, to saying, I know him so much and he means so much to me that I cannot die the way he died. I need to die in an even more humble way than he did. And so this is perhaps a story of Peter growing up. He acknowledges his guilt, he receives grace, and he moves forward. As Cumberland Presbyterians, in our Confession of Faith, there are several passages that really connect to this. The one I want to read to you is from section 423, and it's on sanctification and growth in grace. Once we have faith in Christ, we enter into a period where we are being sanctified. We're being made to be saints. And that doesn't mean being perfect, of course, and our confession suggests that. In no more than Peter was perfect from that moment on, but he had grown and he had learned and he was able to move forward. So 423 says, the struggle with sin continues, for believers are still imperfect in knowledge and the power to do God's will. Their freedom to trust, love, and serve God and neighbors is compromised sometimes by distrust, hate, and selfishness. This inner struggle drives them again and again to rely on God's power to conform them to the image of the new person in Jesus Christ. And I'd argue that's exactly what is going on here in this passage. Peter is driven to Jesus, and Jesus then gives him the power and the grace to be able to be conformed even more to the image that he gave to Peter and to all of us as a model. I often talk about my friend Kyle Matthews, who's a singer and a songwriter, and he wrote a song a number of years ago called "We Fall Down." The line is, "We fall down and we get up, and the saints are just the sinners who fall down and then get up." Let us commit ourselves to growing in grace.
Cursing every step of the way, he bore a heavy load to the market 10 miles away. The journey took its toll, and every day he passed a monastery's high cathedral walls, and it made his life seem miserable and small. And he wondered how it would be to live in such a place, to be warm, well-fed, and at peace, to shut the world away. So when he saw a priest who walked for once beyond the iron gate, he said, "Tell me of your life inside that place." And the priest replied, "We fall down, we get up. We fall down, we get up. We fall down, we get up. And the saints are just the sinners who fall down and get up." Disappointment followed him home. He'd hoped for so much more, but he saw himself in a light he had never seen before. 'Cause if the priests who fail can find the grace of God to be enough, then there must be some hope for the rest of us. There must be some hope left for us. 'Cause we fall down, we get up, and we fall down, and we get up, and we fall down, we get up. And the saints are just the sinners who fall down and get up, and we fall down, we get up.